Picture this. It's just past midnight, the city is asleep, and inside what should be one of the safest places in the country, millions of dollars are about to vanish without a single alarm, bringing the world crashing down. No smashed glass, no dramatic shootout, no Hollywood-style chaos, just precision, patience, and a plan so carefully engineered that by the time anyone realized what had happened, $12 million was already gone. This is the story of the 2018 Midnight Banker Heist, a robbery that stunned investigators, exposed hidden weaknesses in high-security systems, and proved that sometimes the most dangerous criminals don't wear masks, they carry credentials. Before we dive in, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into real-life heists, financial crimes, and the hidden stories behind the headlines. Now let's break down how one of the most calculated bank robberies of the decade unfolded, and how it nearly became the perfect crime. The 2018 Midnight Banker Heist didn't begin on the night of the robbery. It began months earlier, quietly, invisibly, inside offices where access badges beeped and security cameras blinked without suspicion.
They work with perfect precision, stalking their prey, waiting for the right moment to strike. The payoffs are huge. Millions of dollars for a few minutes of violent work.
Unlike traditional robberies fueled by desperation, this one was built on insider knowledge. Investigators later discovered that the mastermind had once worked in the banking sector, not as a teller or security guard, but in a mid-level operational role that gave him a deep understanding of vault logistics, transfer schedules, and internal security blind spots. He wasn't guessing. He knew. The target was a regional financial institution located in a major metropolitan area, one that processed large overnight cash holdings before redistribution. On certain nights, particularly before holiday weekends, the vault could temporarily hold tens of millions in physical currency. That detail would become central to the plan. The thieves weren't looking for a random score, they were timing their move to coincide with peak liquidity inside the vault. What made this heist different was the method. There was no forced entry. Instead, the group exploited credentialed access. According to investigators, duplicated access cards and manipulated authentication codes were used to enter restricted areas without triggering high-level alerts. In many banks, internal movements by authorized IDs don't generate the same emergency response as an external breach. The system assumes that if you're inside, you belong there. That assumption became the heist's greatest weapon. Security footage later revealed that just after midnight, two individuals entered through a side employee entrance. They wore business casual attire, nothing suspicious, nothing dramatic. They moved calmly, never rushing. One of them carried what appeared to be routine equipment cases. In reality, those cases contained tools designed not to break the vault open, but to quietly override specific delay mechanisms tied to time lock systems. Time lock vaults are designed to prevent exactly this kind of crime. They can't simply be opened on demand, even with the correct codes. But what investigators would later uncover was a subtle exploitation of maintenance windows. During certain technical servicing periods, segments of the locking system could be temporarily placed in diagnostic mode. That mode was never meant to be accessed without multiple approvals, but somehow, that night, the safeguards were bypassed. Between 12:47 a.m. and 2:12 a.m., approximately $12 million in bundled cash was removed from the vault. The thieves didn't empty it entirely, another calculated decision. Taking everything would have triggered immediate suspicion before morning reconciliation. Instead, they removed enough to be enormously profitable, but not so much that the absence would be instantly catastrophic at first glance. Perhaps the most astonishing detail was the lack of immediate detection. Morning staff arrived, conducted routine procedures, and it wasn't until mid-morning reconciliation that discrepancies began to surface. At first, it was assumed to be a documentation error, but as internal audits deepened, the truth became unavoidable. Millions were missing. Law enforcement response was swift. Financial crimes units, forensic accountants, and federal investigators were brought in. Digital access logs were combed through minute by minute. Surveillance footage was reconstructed from multiple angles. Entry badge data revealed something puzzling. The credentials used that night belonged to employees who were verifiably at home. The implication was clear: access cloning or internal compromise. Investigators began focusing on former employees and contractors with knowledge of internal systems. That's when a name surfaced: a former operations analyst who had left the institution under unremarkable circumstances 2 years prior. On paper, nothing linked him directly to the crime, but digital breadcrumbs told a different story. Encrypted communications, unusual financial activity, connections to two individuals captured on nearby street cameras, leaving the area in an unregistered vehicle. The getaway itself was as methodical as the entry. No high-speed chase, no dramatic pursuit. The cash was allegedly divided quickly and funneled through layered shell transactions, cryptocurrency conversions, and offshore accounts. Financial laundering in the modern era doesn't rely solely on duffel bags and fake passports. It relies on digital fragmentation, breaking large sums into thousands of smaller movements designed to evade automated detection systems. But even the most careful plans leave traces. Blockchain analysis experts were brought in to track suspicious crypto movements originating within days of the heist. Patterns began to align with known laundering methodologies. Gradually, investigators mapped out a financial trail that looped through multiple jurisdictions before partially re-entering domestic accounts disguised as investment returns. Arrests were made nearly 11 months after the robbery. The alleged mastermind was detained during what authorities described as a routine traffic stop. Though it was anything but routine, search warrants uncovered encrypted drives, partial cash reserves, and documentation tying the group to pre-heist reconnaissance efforts. During certain technical servicing periods, segments of the locking system could be temporarily placed in diagnostic mode. That mode was never meant to be accessed without multiple approvals, but somehow, that night, the safeguards were bypassed. Between 12:47 a.m. and 2:12 a.m., approximately $12 million in bundled cash was removed from the vault. The case sent shockwaves through the banking industry. Security protocols were reviewed nationwide. Institutions began reassessing not just physical safeguards, but insider threat modeling. The Midnight Banker Heist wasn't just a robbery, it was a wake-up call. It exposed a vulnerability that many institutions had underestimated, the danger posed by those who understand the system from the inside. $12 million is more than a headline figure. It represents trust, customer deposits, operational liquidity, financial stability. When that money vanished, it wasn't just a loss on a balance sheet, it was a breach of confidence. And while a significant portion was eventually recovered through asset seizures, not all of it returned. Today, the 2018 Midnight Banker Heist stands as one of the most meticulously orchestrated insider-enabled bank robberies of its time. It reminds us that security isn't just about stronger locks or thicker vault doors. It's about anticipating how systems can be manipulated by those who helped build them. And that's what makes this story so chilling. There was no chaos, no screaming alarms echoing through the night, just quiet footsteps, authenticated access, and the steady removal of $12 million under the assumption that everything was normal. If you found this deep dive into the Midnight Banker Heist fascinating, make sure you like this video and subscribe for more detailed breakdowns of real-world crimes, financial mysteries, and untold investigations. Let me know in the comments. Do you think insider knowledge is the biggest threat to modern security systems? And until the next story, stay curious and stay aware.